You think you're relaxing when you scroll. But you're not. You're being pulled, guided, controlled, one swipe at a time. Endless content, endless stimulation. Your brain never gets a moment of silence. And that silence is exactly what you've lost. The Stoics would look at this and see something very clear. Not entertainment, not rest, but a loss of control. Because for them, the real danger was never outside events. It was losing authority over your own mind. And today, most people don't even realize it's happening. They call it a break, but it leaves them more drained than before. You open your phone for a second, just one moment, and suddenly 20 minutes disappear without your permission. That's not rest. That's passive consumption. And passive consumption slowly weakens your ability to choose. The Stoics trained for the opposite: deliberate action, conscious attention, intentional living. They understood that what you repeatedly give your attention to shapes your character, not once, but daily. And if your attention is constantly fragmented, your mind becomes fragmented with it. Scrolling feels harmless because it's easy, smooth, frictionless, but that's exactly why it's powerful. There is no effort, no resistance, no awareness, just a constant flow that keeps you engaged without asking anything from you. But the Stoics believed that anything that removes effort also removes growth. If something is too easy to consume, it's often because it's not meant to build you, it's meant to keep you. And that's the real trap, not the content itself, but the habit it creates. A habit of distraction, a habit of avoidance, a habit of escaping the present moment. Instead of facing your thoughts, you replace them. Instead of sitting with discomfort, you numb it. But what you avoid doesn't disappear. It accumulates in the background. The Stoics practiced the opposite. They trained themselves to sit in silence, to observe their thoughts without reacting. Because in that silence, you start to see clearly what matters, what doesn't, what deserves your attention. Scrolling removes that clarity. It replaces it with noise, constant, low-level noise. And over time, that noise becomes your normal, until stillness feels uncomfortable. That's when you know you've lost control, not when you scroll, but when you can't stop. For the Stoics, freedom was simple: the ability to choose your response, your focus, your actions. And anything that takes that away, even slowly, is something to question. Scrolling isn't evil, but unconscious scrolling is. Because it turns you into a spectator of your own life. Time passes, energy drops, focus disappears, and you're left wondering where it all went. The Stoics would remind you of something uncomfortable, but necessary. You don't control how much time you have, but you control how you use it. And every moment spent unconsciously is a moment you chose not to live fully. So the question isn't should you stop scrolling completely. It's whether you are the one deciding, or if something else is deciding for you. Because the moment you take back that decision, even once, you start rebuilding control. And control, for the Stoics, was everything. Not control over the world, but control over yourself. Your attention, your reactions, your choices. And maybe the most modern form of that discipline is simply this: to stop scrolling, even when it feels automatic, even when it feels easier to continue. Because in that small moment of resistance, you prove something to yourself, that you're not controlled, that your mind still belongs to you. And that is where real freedom begins.